Good morning, friends. In this session, we are going to learn how can we use Spring Cloud Gateway as reverse proxy. If you have followed my earlier session, you might have understand what is a reverse proxy and how we used Spring Cloud Netflix ribbon component. So there is a component called ribbon in the Netflix provided by the Netflix, which we used it as a reverse proxy and which serves the request between the two Tomcats. I have a Spring Cloud gateway which is using ribbon client and which is in a round robin fashion. It is forwarding request to the two Tomcats behind the gateway. So in this session, I'm going to explain you the more drawbacks what we had in the previous session, like when a new Tomcat is added, because our website become very popular and we want to scale up our website. We thought that our application server is a problematic one. We want to scale up. We want to add one more server. Then we need to restart the gateway. So these were the very common problems which we had. We are going to enhance our routing what we have. So mainly here, if you see my statement, right, I said here it is like static and dynamic routing. They may not be a right terms to be used, but what I mean by here is like when we increase our application servers, when we increase our Tomcats more, we really shouldn't restart our cloud gateway. Like when a new Tomcat comes, the gateway should just automatically route request to the new Tomcat. When a particular Tomcat is down, it shouldn't route request to it. So this is what we are going to do. So mainly here we are going to use Spring Cloud project. Okay, the REST API is built on Spring Boot, and we use Netty as a gateway and Ribbon for client-side load balancing. I'll explain Eureka for registry and a REST API application. So I'm going to explain you those things in very detail. Let us first jump to the problem of what we discussed in the previous video. If you didn't watch, that's fine. I'll quickly walk you through the to the problem. So for example, I have a gateway, okay, or reverse proxy, and I have two Tomcats, T1 and T2. Okay, so this is how my architecture is like. I have gateway on 8080 and Tomcats running on 9090 and 9091. So now let me use another pen. Now, if a request comes to the gateway, then the request needs to be forwarded to Tomcat 1 and response should be served back and it should be served back. This is a happy path. The same thing, right? If another request comes, then it is given to the Tomcat 2 and the Tomcat 2 is going to serve back and the client is served with the response. This is a very happy path. We all know this works pretty well. I call this as a static routing. The reason is if I got a new Tomcat T3, I need to make configurations in gateway. I need to explicitly make some configurations in gateway to make use of this Tomcat which is running on 9092, which is like against the dynamic scaling, right? If for example, if I spin new Tomcat, I need to make changes to gateway and restart the gateway, which is not a right pattern to do. So one more thing we have seen accidentally, if for some reason this Tomcat is down, then the gateway shouldn't forward request to this Tomcat. So those were the very common problems which we see. And how can we deal these problems? I'm going to explain it. So in my view, static routing is like the static scaling. So when a new Tomcat comes up, you are manually making changes in the gateway, which you shouldn't do that. So that is what I mean by static routing. There may not be a right term for here, because uh, we'll deal with in our success sessions what is meant by static routing and stuff. So now I'll explain you. If you see, there is a GitHub repository which I have. You can go to my GitHub repository, which there is a Spring Cloud Gateway registry. This is like the best project which addresses all the problems what I discussed. Like when a new Tomcat comes, it automatically should get registered and the gateway should route request to it. If a particular Tomcat is down, it should remove, and the request shouldn't be forwarded to that dead Tomcat. Okay. So these I'll go through the code walkthrough in the code walkthrough session. This is a repository which has that entire infrastructure running. You can down clone and play with it on your laptop very easily. Okay, so now I have, this is like the very basic static routing repository, Spring Cloud Gateway. So we know that it's a very simple thing is we will just build the code. When you just clone it, it's one way to build it. Okay, now start the gateway. So in our architecture, this component I'm starting 8080. So the simple way I can use Java jar. I have gateway code here and target gateway.jar. I started gateway. Okay, now let me start the Tomcat. Okay, Java jar. I'm calling it a REST API. I have a simple REST API which doesn't do anything. If you call it, it will say hello world. Okay, target REST API.jar. So if you see here, I'm using netty as a gateway. Netty is like a Java-based, you can say Java-based server, okay, which was written in Java, a web server written in Java. You can think in that fashion. So I have Tomcat, which is now running on port 9090. So now in our architecture, we got this component up. Let us bring this component T2 up. So if you want to bring T2 up, Java -jar to 9091 REST API target REST API.jar. So on, I'm running another Tomcat on 9091 port. So one is running on 9090 and the other is running on 9091. The gateway is running on 8080. Very good. We all have this entire infrastructure. Now let me use curl. So curl is like more or less like a command line URL utility. It's like a command line web browser. You can think in that fashion. So I'm accessing Tomcat here directly, which obviously gives you hello world from 9090. That is good. If I'm accessing the Tomcat on 9091, it is also saying hello world. So now let me access from 8080. So I have the gateway running on 8080. The 8080 Tomcat. So you see the request coming from 8080 is given to 9090 and the response is served back. Similarly, if I run one more time, 9091, like round robin, it is one time T1, one time T2. So it's happening nice and beautiful. This is like awesome, very happy part. Now let me do one thing. Let me kill the Tomcat 2. So now Tomcat 2 is not running. Now let us see what our gateway do. So Tomcat 1, it is fine. Tomcat 2, see, it is sending request to Tomcat 2, which it shouldn't do. But we have routings as a static. That's the reason it is sending request to Tomcat 2, which is very bad. So the reason for the proxy is like high availability. So if particular Tomcat is down, the request shouldn't go to that. Now let us enhance our static routing logic. So if you go to my another repository, I have enhanced routing gateway. Okay, if you go to my repository, there is enhanced routing which has a ribbon configuration. As I said to you, right? So the gateway uses a component called a ribbon. Ribbon is a small client-side load balancing library. So Ribbon came from Netflix. We call it a client-side load balancing. So this plays a role of client. The request comes to it. Okay, it forwards it to here, or it gives you this is right or wrong. Okay, then the gateway gives it back to the T1. So we use Netflix Ribbon client. Netflix Ribbon client is a deprecated project, is under a maintenance. We will see what are the ways not to use it. But majority of the applications now, which are in a maintenance state or which in a production state, are using Netflix Ribbon client. I thought, okay, it's very important for people to understand Netflix Ribbon client, and I used that. There will be a follow-up video which I created where we will not be using Netflix Ribbon client, and we'll be using Spring Cloud Load Balancer component. Okay, there is a component which is a replacement for the Ribbon we are going to use it. So keep that. All you need to remember is Ribbon client is going to health check whether which Tomcat is healthy and what is the round logic it needs to use. It's going to give that to the gateway, and gateway is going to reverse proxy request. So simple thing is the Netty uses Ribbon client and is for algorithm, round robin algorithm, or load based, weighted load based, or whatever the algorithm. And it gets the healthy Tomcat which it needs, and it for native for forwards request to the Tomcat. So this is like a pluggable component. Ribbon is like a short algorithm which decides which is a healthy Tomcat that request needs to be served. So that configurations you can easily tweak. Okay, so what I'm asking here is I'm saying before forwarding any request to the Tomcat, make a health check. Health check means if you call that ping a URL on the Tomcat, and if it returns 200, you are fine. And you also use weighted response time rule. Okay, so if you do a health check, if health check failed, you don't forward that request to it, and forward the request to Tomcats which are less troubled. Like if you have two Tomcats, if a particular Tomcat is like serving more and more load, you shouldn't forward the new request to it, right? You should forward to the Tomcat that is free. So this weighted response time rule will check which is a free Tomcat and forward the request to it. So we are using this combination. A simple way to configure your Ribbon client is like in your gateway application, you can say that this is my configuration class. So I have gateway. In my gateway, I'm saying use these configurations. So before forwarding request to the Tomcat, do a health check and also do a weighted check, and then only forward. So with that, we did a slightly improvement. Only the improvement which we did is the requests are not forward to the Tomcat, which is dead. Except that we didn't do anything. So let us play the same. So let me go to the gateway. Now I have that project in. I have that project in enhanced routing. If you check out my enhanced routing, right, you will get that one. So here, let me do a clean install. Now let me start the route gateway jar gateway target gateway.jar. So I'm starting the gateway. There is now let me start the Tomcats as well. So Java jar REST API. I'm having REST API. The first REST API is running on 9090, and similarly, so the second REST API is running on 909. That's good. If you see the gateway, right? So gateway is going to do. You see the observe the logs. Specifically, the gateway is going to do a health check on the Tomcats and observe what was happening. So now I have two REST APIs running on the backend. Before a gateway gives request to REST API, it will call ping health check and forwards that request. Now let me run the client. So curl localhost 8080 served by 9091 Tomcat. Similarly, 90 round robin is happening. Let us kill one Tomcat and see what's the behavior. So you see here, it is doing a health check. So before a request is served, it is doing a health check. Even it is doing a health check on a both Tomcat. Gateway is doing a weighted job start, and it is also doing a health check. This is also a good approach to do a load balancing. Okay, so that the dead Tomcats are automatically deleted from the pool and only the active Tomcats gets the request from the gateway. So every time this guy is doing a health check and forwarding the request. Now let me kill the REST API 2. So the REST API 2 is down. Now let me run. I think it still didn't enhance its routing logic. If you see, after a while, it will certainly remove the 9091 from its pool. It takes a while because uh, the routing logic enhancement, I mean, removing the dead Tomcat takes some time. So it has to do a health check and it will come out. So if you give some 30 seconds, I think is the default time. You will observe that nature after 30 seconds that Tomcat is removed from the pool. Okay, so I think it is taking a while to reflect that. The weighted response rule need to play a role. So and the Tomcat one. So or if I want to, no need to restart the gateway. Let me give for some more time to get that effect come into effect. So all you need to understand is you can configure ribbon client with this interface, and before forwarding any request you can say that run these rules. So let me check once again, am I running it from the right code or not? Okay. Yeah, I'm running it from the right location. Shouldn't forward it to Tomcat 2, but still it is doing. Let me restart gateway and see how it behaves. Ideally, it is not needed. I restarted the gateway. And ideally, restart of gateway is not needed. See, now you see that our configuration, we are asking it to serve to two Tomcats, but only one Tomcat is serving because 9091 is dead. So the changes got affected, and Tomcat, before giving it to the Tomcat health is checked, and the request is forwarded. That is what this gateway is doing. So it does a health check before forwarding, and now only the 9090 Tomcat is served. So anyhow, now let me jump on to the next. The drawback with this is like you see that you need to, it's not working in a smooth and seamless fashion, right? Even I need to restart Tomcat and the dead Tomcat, still the request is going to it. Okay. The best way to solve this is like use a dynamic routing concept. So I'm going to explain you what is meant by dynamic routing. Let me open it, one more blank. So now we are calling it as a, let me use a blue black pen, dynamic routing. So when a new, there are two problems here we need to understand. One is a new Tomcat comes up, the request needs to be given to the new Tomcat. Also, the new Tomcat needs to take the load. And also, if a Tomcat is down, it needs to be removed. The request shouldn't be forwarded. To do that, we need to have a tracker. We call it a registry. We call it a registry. Registry which tracks what are the healthy instances. Okay, which Tomcat is good and stuff. So here we are going to use Eureka as a registry. Now I have Tomcat 1, Tomcat 2, Tomcat 3. So it can be n Tomcats, I don't care. So these Tomcats are coming up and you have a Eureka client. So these Tomcats will come up and say that I am healthy. So every time the Tomcats register themselves to the registry and update its states. So we need one registry, we need one client, that is a Eureka client. And we need, as usual, a gateway, and we need a ribbon client as well. Same thing, the ribbon client which we use. So gateway needs to, the ribbon client, all the logic is in ribbon client. Ribbon client needs to ask registry and get healthy Tomcats. And the registry serves the healthy Tomcats. All the ribbon client needs to know is the healthy Tomcats and very newly added Tomcats. That information is maintained in registry. So once again, the ribbon client needs to have Eureka client as well. It will register to the server. So registry is a place which keeps the status of the services. Okay, the services here is the gateway and the REST API services, the Tomcat services. All these services are maintained in registry. The ribbon client is going to fetch the information about the API services, like which are healthy Tomcats and stuff, and then it is going to serve the request, send the request to that. So this entire thing is done. That is what I mean by dynamic routing. If you go, before we go to dynamic routing, I just want to cover this slide as well. You know, static routing, like we gave the tall servers and ports. Okay, why it is needed? Why do we need static routing? Is like you have legacy applications, like which is written in plain Tomcat or web var based. Okay, so may not be a Spring based as well, but you want to use the load balancing capability. Then static routing is very easy way. Here I said right now the Tomcats needs to have Eureka client. In the static routing, it can be plain Tomcat. It need not to register. There is no registry. So this is needed for some scenarios where you have some legacy applications, but you want to enable scaling, auto scaling easily. Then you can use this one, the static routing. So hard-coded routes, the disadvantages, we do hard-code routes, okay, which like the Tomcats are hard-coded in application.yaml. That's one of the main disadvantage of it. And we have seen the demo. To overcome that, now we use dynamic routing. Why do we need dynamic routing? Is the new Tomcats come up, you need to serve the request and the Tomcat is deleted. The request shouldn't be routed to them. Now you need four components: registry, Eureka server. Think of it as a simple server, which is like a registry where every application is. Then you need a gateway as usual, which plays a role of a reverse proxy. We use Spring Cloud Native. Then you use Eureka Ribbon client. Okay, client-side load balancing is used by Eureka Ribbon client. This is a mixture of gateway, Ribbon client, and Eureka client, three components. And finally, a REST API which uses Eureka client and register to the registry. With this, you all understood what are the components. Only one deprecated or maintenance component here we are using is Ribbon client. So this is like under maintenance. This project is under maintenance, but Eureka registry is not under maintenance. You can go ahead and use it. You shouldn't use Ribbon client for newer development. What you should use, I'm going to cover it in the next video. The thing is Spring Cloud Load Balancer. There is a Spring Cloud Load Balancer component which plays the role of a Ribbon client. You should be using that. Now, this entire code, as usual, is here. Spring Cloud Registry. I'll walk you through the code little bit and also with the demo as well. So, CD idea. Reverse proxy registry I have here. After you check out the code, reverse proxy registry. So then you do a clean build. Because I don't check in binaries to the version control. Let me do one thing. Clean install. So I'm building the code base so that necessary artifacts generated. Now what you need, the first thing is like registry. You need to run, the first component is registry, right? So if you see the screen, this is like Eureka service registry. So the simple way is like same Java registry target registry.jar. So we are bringing the registry server up. So the first command is going to start registry server on the port. Okay, we didn't discuss about the ports, right? '8761. So now let us understand the ports. Registry runs on, let me use the different color. It runs on 8761. I think that's the one. Yeah, 8761 is the registry, runs by default. Okay, we are running on 9090, 9091, and 9092, and gateway is running on port 8080. So you all knows this very well, right? Gateway request comes to 8080, then it goes to 9090 or 9091, 9092. It uses registry to fetch the information. So Ribbon client calls registry and get what are healthy Tomcats information and stuff. So now if you see, the registry doesn't have any application instances running. Okay, now let us start. The second component which we're going to start is the gateway. So this component we are going to start, gateway. So let me stop the old gateway. Proxy registry Java. The same command java-jar gateway. I'm starting the gateway, which is nothing but an AT server running on port 8080. So here, once the gateway starts, what it will do is it binds to port 8080 and also it registers with the Eureka service registry. So the gateway is registering with the Eureka service registry. You see, if I do a simple refresh, you can see the gateway got registered to. See that this is my gateway application, which is running on the port 8080. Okay. Now let me bring the REST API one. Okay. So I'm bringing the REST API one. So once the REST API comes up, this REST API, the Tomcat comes up, it registers to Eureka Service Registry. That's all. The Tomcat only knows about the Eureka Service Registry. So if you see here, if I do a refresh, now you can see the REST API is running on 9090 port. Let me bring one more Tomcat up. I'm bringing one more Tomcat on port 9091. Even this Tomcat registers with the Eureka Service Registry. So think that registry keeps track of all the healthy services. I'm not going to go in detail and explain how a heartbeat happens between the registry and the services. That you can explore very well. But every time a new application instance, here REST API is one, right? It has two instances, which is running on 9090 and 909 that get registered. Now, nice. Now let us check with our client what is happening. So curl, okay, the first takes a while to jump to the second one. Currently it is serving, the gateway is serving request from only 9090. Every 30, I think it's every 30 seconds it's checked for the new Tomcats that got added. Okay. Let it be like that. So I'll do a code walkthrough. In the meanwhile, the gateway check for healthy components and come. So three things here. I'll open the registry. So if you go to the code base, we have three components. One is gateway, registry, and REST API. This is a multi-module Maven project. I think if you download this code and you play with it, you get everything ready. What you need to know is like it's simple Spring Boot applications with the dependencies. So gateway, what you need? Gateway, you need a Eureka client. Okay, so which is nothing but you need a Spring Cloud gateway as a dependency. You need Spring Cloud gateway as a dependency, and you need to have a one Eureka ribbon client. These are the two dependencies. If you have, you got a gateway ready. Then registry is that what you need to know. You need to have only the Eureka server. So you don't need anything. You just need a Eureka server. This is the dependency you need. Then REST API is nothing but a Spring Boot application, right? It needs Spring Boot and Eureka client. So you see here, it needs a Spring Boot web application, and I said it's a Eureka client, Netflix Eureka client. Those are the only dependencies you need. So all the clients need Eureka client, whether it can be a gateway, either it can be a REST API, and the registry needs Eureka server, and a gateway needs a gateway component. Those are the only dependencies which you need to know. So let me delve into the code. Code is also very simple. Gateway application, nothing. I said it's like it enable Eureka client. I said it needs to be enable Eureka client. You already added Netflix client and Spring Cloud gateway, so that these two dependencies do the entire magic. Ribbon client configuration and these two libraries do all the magic. Like it register with the Eureka server and getting the healthy Tomcats information, everything. That magic happens here. So one more thing you want to see, pay attention to this. This is where you need to understand. gateway runs on port 8080, and here you can see that it is calling a REST API. Okay, this is important. This is your application instance name. Sorry, this is your application name. So based on this, this is a REST API. It will identify this. Okay. So the every route there is a pattern, right? So like a predicate, what rule needs to be satisfied. Every request that comes to it, okay, forward it to star. You can forward every request that is coming to gateway to the healthy Tomcat instance. So I'm not going to explain you about predicates, routes, and stuff. My attention is more to understand this whole architecture. Okay, and refresh ribbon server list every I said every 1 second you do a refresh of the server. It's like I think MS I need to put I forgot the syntax here, but this plays that role. This is our gateway. Then registry will not the entire crux of routing happens here. So you might be asking, where is the Eureka client? Here is enable Eureka client. Okay. Similarly, the same thing with the registry. If you open the registry, nothing will be there related to. So I'm saying that don't register the server itself as one of the service to it. The registry itself one of the service. This is what it says. So don't register this Eureka server as one of the service to the registry. I said to this, and I'm asking registry to run it on 8761. This is by default. Even if you didn't mention it, runs like that. And here you say that this is an Eureka server. So this is what a registry is. Registry is a Eureka server. Okay, gateway is a Eureka client. Similarly, if you see the REST API application, this is also an Eureka client, and this is Spring Boot application. With this whole magic happens without, and this is what your REST API service. Now let us see whether the servers got refreshed and round robin happens. You see the request is going to 9091 also. So let me bring one more REST API instance. Okay. Rename REST API. Okay. Now CT. Registry, and I'm bringing one more instance. It's like you guys already know Java, jar, port two. So I'm running it on one more server. You see the diagram, the 909, which registering to the registry and happens. Let me do a refresh on registry. You can see a new instance of it gets registered. You see here 9092 got registered on the, as a REST API instance. And it takes a while for my client to pick that 9092. It takes a while, like I think I set it as a 10-second or something. So now you understand the whole architecture of registry, Eureka client, Eureka server. The only drawback with this integration is like we are using Ribbon client, a maintenance-based component. In our next session, I'm going to explain how can you overcome that, and you use Spring Cloud Load Balancer component instead of Ribbon component. And I'll go a little bit of depth about predicates, routes, filters. Okay. So with that, I end my session. Hope you might like my the reverse proxy session. Thank you.